kind of interesting. Tai Chi is a very complex creature. Shifu, can I borrow you just for a second, sir? And so, if you can, yeah, actually, well, he's pushing me before. So, son, if you can actually stand the other way, okay. So, I'm going to show you something that's actually kind of interesting from a Tai Chi perspective, and you'll actually start understanding the system a little bit better. And what integration actually really means. So in Tai Chi, something that's called Peng. And so Peng is basically where your energy is out like this. And actually, if Shifu was to stand like this, I would actually stand like this, and I would become like a ball, kind of like light like this, and then I would go like this. And it's like a very simple thing. It's expanded state. It's actually the most fundamental thing. And then so it's the most fundamental techniques within Tai Chi is called Peng Lu Jian. It means, well, Peng Lu Jian, and then Zai Lei Zhou Kao. And you're going to wonder how on earth has it have anything to do with purpose, and I will show you just in a moment. And so, so you have Peng, and Peng doesn't always work. And so you have Peng Lu, and Lu is actually where if you have a center that's Peng, Lu is actually where you can actually take things to the side, like this, and so on and so forth. So Lu is basically lead. If someone comes in with a force like this is powerful, let's say for instance Shifu is Peng, and so Shifu comes in with Peng, 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 Peng me, and then Lu, Lu is actually where as he Pengs me, I can lead it away. That's no problem. And then An is actually downward force. You push the person actually down, and then it goes like this. And then G, actually Jian. G is actually when you press, but it's actually more than that press. So you press the person like this. That's actually really interesting because the press actually is between you and the other person. So most people think this is a G, but actually this is just a feel. The real G is actually right here. And it's the joining of forces. So as we join together, he goes. And then Zai Lo Zhou Kao is the corners, it's called the four corners. Now, having said that, so four corners is when you Peng, Lu, Ji, An fail. So you're supposed to be able to take care of everything by Peng, Lu, Ji, An. So if someone comes in, like say for instance, Shifu comes in towards me and he does this, then you're supposed to be able to actually do Peng. You see how if I go like this, then actually it stops him, and then you can do this. But let's say for instance, his Peng is greater than my Peng, and then I have to do Lu. Then you should take care of it. And let's say for instance, I take care of him, but he doesn't, then I do G. And so what it is triangular, it's a triangular force, so as he resists it, actually it allows me to use his force and my force together to actually use that. But let's say, for instance, do you see how he actually performed An on me? And so he beat me to the punch. So I did Peng Lu Ji, and then he doesn't go, then watch this. Actually, as just you going down actually disrupts his force. So it's Peng Lu Ji. But once in a while, you actually counter someone who's even more difficult than that, and your Peng breaks as he comes. Your Peng breaks because they're too deep, and so you have actually so you start using elbow. It's when your Peng breaks, and sometimes actually your elbow breaks and it's not enough, so you have to actually use your shoulder. So that's actually Kao, and sometimes that's not enough, so you actually pull him aside, and that's called Sai. That's like a desperate measure. And sometimes you do this and he doesn't want to come, so actually you have to split. Well, thank you. Right? And so people think that that's what Tai Chi is about. But ironically, it's actually not. What you're really supposed to do is when someone comes into contact with you, you have Peng, but actually you add Lu to it. Now notice how here's Peng, and then now notice how his body changes. Notice how, so now, but he's not coming with me, so I add Ji. Now notice how, and then I add An. You see how Peng, Lu, and then Ji, and then An. So all of them actually are together. So it becomes very difficult for the other person to receive this because it doesn't have only one force, it actually has multiple forces coming in together. Do you see how it says having an integrated harmony? Now, to the other uninitiated eye, it's just Peng. But see, this is just Peng. as you can see, it works, but if he's really standing, it's not gonna, so now I'm gonna have Lu. Notice how I did Pung and I slightly taken to the side, and now triangulation, and then here is An. Notice how it's a little different. So it looks the same, but it feels slightly different, and it starts going fast. So this is called integration. You add one thing on top of the other until it starts working. So, thank you, Shifu. So now that all actually only can happen if you actually have an integrated center. So you need to start with the center. So all of Tai Chi starts with center, and then it actually sees how you can add these different things until these different aspects all start combining. So conceptually clear so far? Okay, so now here's actually the cool part. So if you're really good, then your Peng or your touch should not only have Peng Wu Jian, it should actually have Zai Lo Zhou Kao as well. So if you're really good, you have 8 forces coming at the other person all at once. Imagine that. How do you even deal with that, right? So yeah, I know. Now imagine that every aspect of your life had that kind of combination to deal with life. And so it's not just a single thing. To me, it's not you use one thing and then you use the next, and then if that doesn't work, you use the next. Actually, no. You actually use all 8 together. And you keep adding more. This is actually just the basics. This 8 is just the basics. After these, you're supposed to add more and more and more. So you add the 5 directions on top of the 8. And then after you add the 5 directions, then you add actually, what's the word for it? Well, it actually starts with the 3 postures. And 3 postures expand into, what's the word for it? The 8 directions or the 8 gates. And then it comes into 5 directions. You combine the 5 directions. And so on and so forth, actually. I'm not going to go any further because then it gets too much. But as you can see, the progress is infinite. And your life starts flowing. Why? Because you're not actually dealing with one thing at a time. You're actually bringing all these different things all at once. And that becomes very powerful.